Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're embarking on a truly fascinating deep dive. It's one that blends generations of family history with ancient beliefs and, well, some truly extraordinary events. You've given us such a rich tapestry of experiences here, and our mission, as always, is to really extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight. Give you that shortcut to being truly well informed. We're going to follow a personal narrative, weaving through spiritual paths and the, let's say, mysterious world of Thai sorcery, uncovering these hidden threads of karma.
Yeah, what's really remarkable here is how this single case study provides such a vivid window, a window into interconnected destinies and the intricate workings of karma across lifetimes. It's quite something. We'll be exploring not just the events, but the profound why behind them, and hopefully encouraging you, the listener, to consider the broader implications of how intention and action shape far more than just our current lives.
Okay, diving right in. Our narrator, the person whose journey we're following, they first visited a temple back in 1997. It was for a pillar-raising ceremony for a monastic hall. And this pivotal moment, get this, it was actually initiated by a virtue leader who lived nearby and invited them.
That's interesting you highlight that invitation,
So,
because it immediately underscores a fundamental principle, doesn't it? How often do our paths cross with someone who, well, fundamentally shifts our entire trajectory?
right.
Here, we see the ripple effect of what the Source calls virtuous friends, connections that aren't just casual, but really guide someone toward a spiritual path.
It really is a testament to positive influence, so that connection clearly stuck because our narrator continued their involvement,
Uh,
helping with a Buddha casting ceremony and later assisting at a commit center for, over 2 years? Now,
yeah.
for those unfamiliar, a commit center, it often serves as a vital community hub for spiritual learning and merit making, a place where people can truly deepen their practice.
Exactly. A place for cultivation.
Okay, let's go back a generation then, to the narrator's grandfather. His life took an incredibly unexpected turn. He actually started as a monk, stayed long enough that he was nearly an abbot, or sampan.
That's quite high up in the hierarchy.
It is, but then rather surprisingly, he disrobed. The reason given? Boredom.
Boredom. Wow.
Can you imagine? From almost the pinnacle of monastic life, he transitions to, well, the humble life of a farmer. But despite this unconventional path, he became a highly respected traditional village doctor, beloved by everyone he helped, apparently.
So he still found a way to serve.
Absolutely. He married the grandmother much later in life, and she was significantly younger. Together, they had 5 children, 2 boys, 3 girls, with the narrator's father being the third child. Eventually, the grandfather passed away from old age, leaving the narrator's father responsible for his younger siblings.
If we step back for a moment, the grandfather's decision, disrobing due to boredom, it really tells us something, doesn't it, about the nature of spiritual practice. It suggests perhaps a lack of true monastic discipline, maybe a lack of that consistent spiritual support from those virtuous friends we just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, what's truly fascinating is that despite this, his accumulated merit from helping people, from healing, and even from his time as a monk, however incomplete, that merit guided his next existence. He became an Akadadeva. You can think of an Akadadeva as a type of celestial being residing in the subtle realms.
An air deity.
Sort of, yeah. Often associated with specific karmic achievements, which in his case manifested as a medium-sized silver palace in that existence. It really highlights how even seemingly, well, incomplete spiritual journeys can yield significant positive karmic outcomes.
That's a really powerful point. So it suggests that even a journey that doesn't reach its, let's say, intended monastic conclusion can still generate immense positive energy through good deeds. It's less about the formal title and more about the underlying intention and positive impact, perhaps.
Exactly. It challenges that conventional view that spiritual practice must be lifelong or follow a strict path to bear fruit. Every act of kindness, every moment of service, it's like a deposit in that karmic bank, you know?
Fascinating. Okay, so moving on to the father, the grandfather's third child, he also had a spiritual stint serving as a novice monk for several years, spent his time reading the Tripitaka, sharing its wisdom with the villagers. But alongside his interest in Dharma, he developed this deep fascination with incantations. From ancient texts like Seven-Path Kadihal Taintak, which are like classic collections of traditional Thai magical formulas, and the mysterious world of sorcery, and here's where things took a critical turn. While still a novice, he began experimenting, trying out these incantations on his own, crucially, without performing the ritual of dandan.
Right, the paying respect to the teacher.
Exactly. Paying proper respect or formally initiating with a master, that was missed.
And this raises an important question, doesn't it, about the profound respect required in certain esoteric traditions. In Tenten, sorcery, Kanken isn't just a formality, it's not just symbolic, it's an acknowledgement of the teachers. And these aren't always living humans.
Right, you mentioned that.
Often they're former practitioners who continue to oversee the knowledge after death, like spiritual guardians of the practice. Disrespecting this tradition, well, it can lead to direct consequences, because they are considered the true source of the efficacy and the protection needed.
So it wasn't malice from these teachers.
Apparently not. The source suggests they were essentially disciplining the father, instructing him, albeit harshly, on the proper protocols. It's about recognizing that success and safety in these practices hinges entirely on the permission and power granted by these unseen masters.
So if Palan is about acknowledging these unseen teachers, does that imply a constant, almost contractual relationship? It sounds less like a formality and more like a necessary pact for the magic to even work.
Precisely. That's a good way to put it. It's a dynamic, energetic exchange. These teachers are seen as the true custodians of the knowledge. To access its power, one must acknowledge and align with their lineage and authority. Without that, the practice is considered unsafe and ineffective. It's like trying to build a house without permission from the architect, maybe.
That's a great analogy. And the consequences for the father were immediate and severe. He fell gravely ill, high fever, shaking uncontrollably, unable to eat, just awful. And even his own father, the respected village doctor,
Couldn't cure him?
exactly, which really underscores your point about it being something beyond the ordinary. It was an uncle, the father's cousin, who came to visit and immediately saw what was wrong. He recognized the father's error.
Someone with the right knowledge.
But the uncle performed the Kankan ceremony right then and there, accepting the father as his disciple. And miraculously, the father recovered completely and then went on to become a healer alongside this uncle.
Incredible. A direct intervention and resolution.
Now, let's talk about that uncle, because his story is truly extraordinary. It brings us to another fascinating thread in this family's tapestry. When he was just 15, he encountered 6 mysterious men. They called themselves
Ka, like the mountain tribe.
Exactly. These men claimed they were Ka kings, royalty whose ancestors had once inhabited the very village area. But they'd fled to the mountains centuries ago due to invaders, their quest to find ancestral treasure. Specifically, these large 8-eared and 4-eared jars using a treasure map they had. And no one in the village dared to help these strange men. Understandable, maybe. But the uncle, perhaps sensing something, maybe that connection you mentioned earlier, he bravely volunteered and formed an immediate bond with them.
And what's truly fascinating here, as the source reveals, is that deep-seated connection. They weren't just random strangers showing up. The Ka are indeed a mountain tribe who once lived in that area as leaders. But more profoundly, the uncle and these Ka were connected through the practice of Kanga over many, many past lives.
Many lives.
Yes, they shared the same elemental nature, which means their fundamental spiritual energies, or maybe their karmic predispositions, were deeply aligned, which is precisely why they clicked so immediately. Why the Ka were drawn to him and he to them is a remarkable testament to these enduring threads of karma and shared spiritual affinities.
That's incredible, like a karmic GPS, just guiding them right to each other. So what happened next with these Khan kings and the uncle?
Well, the treasure hunt itself was amazing.
Right. What happened next was just astonishing. The Ka performed a ritual, using a special bowl with flowers and incantations, and then, incredibly, they could visibly see the buried jars with their naked
You
eyes.
see through the ground.
Apparently so, and the uncle, being sharp, learned this very feat from them. He was able to perform it himself, seeing the buried jars and ultimately finding all 8 of them.
That's unbelievable, the kind of clairvoyance tied to this ritual.
Exactly. So after finding the treasure, the Ka offered to take the uncle back to their homeland, described as a dangerous place, a forest filled with poisonous plants where only those with specific knowledge and magic could survive.
Sounds perilous.
Very. But the uncle's parents, fueled by rumors that the Ka ate people, which sounds like local fear talking.
Understandable fear, perhaps, given the circumstances.
True. They absolutely refused to let him go. So instead, the Ka decided to impart their knowledge, their master-level sorcery. Yeah, I think that or cup. They gave it to the uncle, and even gave him half of their belongings.
A huge transfer of power and wealth, then.
Absolutely. And they gave him a crucial warning. Don't accept teachings from any other Ka groups that might show up later, a prediction that actually came true. 4 or 5 more groups did appear later on.
Foresight as well.
Yeah, The uncle then used this potent knowledge to heal people, including those afflicted by, black magic, which is often said to manifest as mysterious ailments or just strings of bad luck.
Mm-hmm. Negative magical influence.
And here's where it gets really interesting, almost mind-boggling. Healers, like the uncle and the father, sometimes received whispered instructions from professor or celestial professors, or even saw white-robed teachers guiding their treatment.
Direct, subtle guidance.
But it wasn't just visions. The uncle had this communication ritual. It's
Right.
just, wow. He would place 5 pairs of flowers, incense, and candles on a shelf. They would then vanish, only to be replaced by new flowers from his Ka teachers.
Vanish and reappear.
Yes. And sometimes, if he asked for specific herbs, herbs would appear instead of flowers. And this apparently happened almost daily for years. How is such an exchange even possible?
It's an excellent question.
Huh.
The source clarifies that it was Vidyadhar teachers who placed these objects. Now, Vidyadhar, they're a type of celestial beings with magical powers, often associated with wisdom and esoteric knowledge.
Okay.
For the uncle, because of his lineage, his past karmic connections to this specific knowledge, his ayatana, those are his sense faculties, his mental apparatus, the channels through which he perceived reality. They were exceptionally open.
Yeah.
Open to perceiving these subtle phenomena, so it wasn't just a one-off fluke.
The regularity makes it seem established.
Exactly. Its regularity speaks to a consistent, unseen interaction, and the source even explains those asthma-like symptoms sometimes seen in people who receive this knowledge.
Yeah.
It suggests it's due to the very nature of the teacher spirits, the Enka themselves. They would enter with a kind of breathless, panting motion, a transference of energy that had a physical effect.
Wow. A physical manifestation of that connection. That's a lot to consider. Sadly, the story takes a turn. The uncle eventually succumbed to lung disease, and the source links it, indirectly at least, to the offerings of alcohol and cigarettes he often received in his healing practice.
The occupational hazards, even in that line of work.
Yeah. And his poignant final communication from his Ka teachers was just silence. One day, no flowers return, suggesting the teacher had passed on.
A quiet end to that remarkable connection.
And the father, he also had his own mysterious final days, marked by a premonition where they, presumably these guiding forces, told him he had 5 more years to live. Exactly 5 years later, he fell ill, and they apparently came for him again. But he was granted 1 more year after his family appealed, like a negotiation.
Extraordinary.
He passed away a year later, seemingly quite healthy just before it happened.
Stepping back for a moment to connect this to the bigger picture, both the uncle and the father, their connection to this world of sorcery continued even after death. The uncle, after passing, became a Bhumadeva Vidyadhara. That's like an earthbound deity sorcery master. He essentially joined his teacher in that realm.
Stayed within that lineage, then.
Yes. And the father, because of his very strong attachment to sorcery from past lives, he became a Vidyadhara in the legendary Himappan forest. Now, this is significant because his substantial merit from being a novice monk and teaching Dharma could have led him elsewhere, potentially to a higher, more purely spiritual realm.
But the sorcery interest pulled him elsewhere.
It seems so. His intense focus on the sorcery essentially closed the door to those other karmic pathways. It allowed this particular destiny, this attachment, to take precedence. As for the Ka teacher who stopped communicating, it's confirmed they died and ascended even higher, becoming a Brahmadeva Vidyadhara, still overseeing and empowering their specific branch of sorcery, but from an even purer, higher realm.
It's fascinating how a strong attachment, even to something like sorcery, which have its own merits in healing, could close the door to other karmic pathways, even with substantial good merit built up elsewhere. Does that mean our deep interests, our passions, even if not conventionally spiritual, can powerfully redirect our destiny?
Absolutely. I think the emphasis here is on the power of attachment and aspiration. Whatever we focus our energy on, whatever we deeply desire or commit ourselves to, it creates a powerful karmic imprint. An imprint that shapes not just our current life, but our future existences too. It's a reminder that our passions, even seemingly innocuous ones, have profound long-term consequences.
Okay, let's pivot now to some of the present struggles faced by other family members. It really highlights how these karmic threads continue to weave through the generations. The narrator's mother, for instance, died quite young, 54, from liver disease after what sounds like a lifetime of hardship. Then there's the youngest sister. She has a difficult marriage to an alcoholic, irresponsible husband, a lot of suffering there, and in a particularly painful situation, the granddaughter. She was tricked into a relationship at just 13, then betrayed and even physically assaulted by her ex-boyfriend's new partner. Just heartbreaking.
And this begs the question, doesn't it? Why do individuals face such distinct challenges? How does this karmic framework explain them? The source actually provides quite clear explanations. The mother's liver disease and hardship. It's linked to killing animals for food in past lives, and maybe the present one too, combined with making very little merit.
A direct link there.
Seems so. The sister's challenging marriage, linked to past karma of associating with bad people, drinking, philandering, gambling, patterns repeating. And the granddaughter's heartbreak and betrayal, that difficult experience relates to past promiscuity karma, a complex pattern of past actions leading to similar painful experiences recurring.
That's a lot to untangle. So if someone is facing these kinds of karmic patterns, what's the path forward, according to the source? Is it ever too late to shift these patterns? Can things change?
Well, the path forward, as outlined in the source, really emphasizes inner change and diligent mirror-making. And no, it's depicted as never too late. For the sister, for instance, it's about maintaining a clear mind, making vast amounts of merit, cultivating patience, also actively inviting others to do good, and making really strong aspirations to transcend these conditions.
So active effort is key.
Very much so. For the granddaughter, it's about forgiveness, which means consciously letting go of resentment and ill will, focusing on positive things like studies, righteous livelihood, making abundant merit, and specifically aspiring, making that intention to only encounter good people and stay far from harmful ones in the future. The emphasis is on proactive, positive action and really shifting one's own internal state.
Bringing the focus back now to our narrator, the person sharing this story. There's a strong, loving bond mentioned between them and their sister, apparently rooted in blood ties and mutual support across lifetimes. They've helped each other before.
Those virtuous friend connections again, but within the family?
Exactly. The family's past merit-making with that temple group we mentioned earlier, it's described as Ganon Don, which is like providing supplies or provisions for the spiritual journey. Support crew, almost. But it was not continuous, meaning they met and helped in some lives, but not others. Scattered encounters.
Interesting nuance. The connection wasn't consistently maintained across all rebirths.
And here's a deeply personal detail about our narrator. They have chosen not to marry in this life. This isn't random. The source says it's a direct result of suffering experienced in family life in past lives, and making a strong aspiration, a powerful intention, to be single in this one.
And what's truly remarkable there is how clearly an individual's past aspirations and actions can shape their present inclinations, and their future destinies too. The narrator's desire for a single life isn't just a preference. It's presented as a direct outcome of past suffering and a conscious, deeply imprinted intention.
A choice made lifetimes ago, echoing now.
Exactly. And this also highlights the profound power of that intention and continuous merit-making. They are the ingredients, so to speak, that allow you to sculpt your future, even influencing things like gender and life choices across rebirths. The concept of, like, a stronger imprint or a thicker design for aspirations seems key here.
A stronger imprint.
Yes. If the narrator maintains celibacy, makes significant merit, and strengthens this aspiration even further, there's a distinct possibility, according to the source, of being reborn as a male and being ordained in a future life. It's a powerful illustration of self-directed destiny shaped by past choices and present actions.
So, after all this, what does it all mean for us, for you listening? This incredible case study, it truly showcases the intricate web of karma, the tangible impact of unseen forces, and the profound influence of our choices, not just our own, but across generations and even lifetimes. From ancient sorcery passed down through family lines to the subtle effects of past actions playing out in present circumstances, this deep dive has really been a journey into the extraordinary.
And it raises an important question, I think, for you to consider. How might the seemingly ordinary events in your own life be connected to unseen patterns or the threads of past actions? What if cultivating those virtuous friends, those positive connections, and making consistent merit isn't just, a spiritual practice, but maybe it's a way to actively shape the unseen forces influencing your destiny, a way to perhaps close the door on certain karmic paths and consciously open others?
Taking control of the narrative,
Yeah.
in a way.
In a profound way, yes. The message seems clear. Goes around, comes around. Understanding this profound principle invites us all, perhaps, to be more mindful of our actions, our intentions, and the powerful role they play in shaping not just our current reality, but what comes next.